And we are all leaders, therefore, and have exercised leadership at some point in time. So today we're here and we're speaking to an organization and speaking to an audience that is committed to making a positive difference in the lives of girls. So I'm going to speak and I'm going to focus mainly in my discussion about leadership on women and women in leadership. I hope we understand each other. That isn't because men don't make a difference, and it isn't because men aren't leaders. And there are some perfectly good leaders who are men, but today I'm going to be focused on women in leadership because we want to grow several people in this room to be great leaders, isn't it? Yeah? And those people happen to be girls. And somebody once asked me why I wrote poetry, and I wrote poetry for the daughter I might never have. And I haven't had a daughter yet. So I hope that that poetry has made it possible for you girls to have a different kind of life. Yeah? So, let me just ask a question. Does it matter if women are in leadership? Yeah? Why does it matter? With Christians, you know, but the priest usually will be a man. You know, the women will have leadership positions in church, but it will be the mothers' union, isn't it? Usually. Yeah? So traditionally, men have dominated leadership, and especially in the public sphere. And when you look at where women hold positions of leadership, usually their opportunities have been, in a communal sense, they've been limited. Usually it's in relation to things that have to do with nurturing and the raising of children, yeah? So if you look at the PTA, you might see women in leadership positions, isn't it? The Parent Teachers Association, you'll see women in leadership there, probably. If you look at the church, as I just pointed out, you know, it will be the Mothers' Union. You know, the women will probably be your Sunday school teacher, but it's unlikely that she'll be the one that's preaching to you and who's standing on the front. Yeah? And even in the family, although things are changing, because today we have a lot more single-parent households, and so, you know, you will find many families today where it's the mother who is the one who is the head of the household. But largely, even then, you still see, even in that context, usually it's a man. The larger the sphere of influence, the larger the area of leadership. And I'm talking both in terms of geography and in terms of the at a philosophical level, yeah? The larger the sphere of influence, the more likely it is that the leader will be a man, isn't it? Yeah. So,
I'm Yvonne Zimba, and I think it matters for a woman to be in leadership because you lead other women, you understand them better than a man will understand you.
Okay. Thank you, Yvonne, and thank you for showing leadership. And Yvonne says that it makes a difference because women lead other women, and they make a better leader for other women because they understand other women better than a man would. Okay, any other reason why it makes a difference? So that's one reason. I'm going to take two more from this side and then I'll ask for someone on the other side.
Okay, I'm Catherine, and I'd say it's important for women to be leaders because as a woman, we're more gifted in being all-rounded and thinking of other people other than just women yourselves. We think of the community as a whole. So it's important to have such people in leadership.
Okay, thank you. And please pass the mic behind you. Thank you, Catherine.
I'm Cynthia. I think if women become leaders, they're motherly, they understand tasks better. They get back to both boys and girls. They know the problems of boys and girls, so they can lead overall. Yeah.
Thank you. So anybody else's situation is because of various historical factors, yeah? Women have historically had access to less opportunities than men. When it comes to school, more boys had a chance historically to go to school than women. And even if you look at the education statistics today, you will notice that as you go higher up in terms of education, you'll see fewer girls, isn't it? I mean, some of you earlier, when the young ladies who've been through the Akili Dada program were speaking, one of you talked about in her community, the girls don't go beyond Form 2. Most of them drop out, yeah? Before you, so, and if you look, you'll find that in terms of education, if you look at primary school, Kenya is one of the countries that has achieved almost 50-50, yeah? There's some parts of Kenya where actually, unfortunately, it's going the other way around, where we have less boys in school. So that's also worrying. That's not a good thing either. You know, it's important to have both sets of children in school. But when you get to secondary, the statistics drop. When you get to university, it's, you know, even for courses where you have very good participation by girls, law, for example, is a degree that a lot of girls take. Comparatively. And even with that, you will find that we're looking at about a 30% in leadership. For me, it matters first because it's a matter of justice, pure and simple. Yeah? Women are more than half the population, actually, slightly more. So it makes no sense that they should not be represented in any area of life. I think the country suffers. And I think several people spoke about that, about how you think that the country suffers. Because people who are nurturers don't just think about themselves. So I think this is a valuable quality that women bring to leadership. So I think it matters when you have more women in leadership, because we have trained women to care about other people. And I think this is an important quality to have in a leader. I think a good leader is actually nurturing. And I think that a leader who is incapable of being nurturing is actually not a good leader. But I don't think that this is a quality that is generally valued by our society. That when we look at people who are leaders, we don't look at them and say, geez, that's a good leader because they're nurturing. It's something that they may have, but we actually don't acknowledge it as being valuable because we generally don't acknowledge things that we associate with women, unfortunately, again, with being valuable. So I think one of the qualities that women bring into that space, because of their socialization, because of their training, is nurturing. And how is it possible? Let me explain to you in the language that Bunjuru probably would in a more expert way, as a political scientist. Why I think this is very important and it makes a difference. I'll take some examples from economics and politics. It has been shown that women use resources differently.